sons, attack the gates.
Well, that wasn't what was meant to be played, but hello! Apparently iTunes can't find Russell Square. Let me fix that. It'll probably say it to find it. Hello, how are we all doing? It you! It friends, how are we? Let me tell off iTunes for not playing my music. If I can find it. But if I can't find it, I can understand why iTunes might have difficulty. Anyway, you don't need to know any of this. I'm just clicking at stuff. How are we all? Are we all well? I hope so. Yeah, where is it? In there? No. I'll find it at the end of the stream. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Right. Welcome to experiment time. I don't know how this stream's going to go. I don't know if it's going to work. I should probably have done some tests, but here we are. So last time we did a music stream, I did it over 2 computers. I used my old Mac, which I do most of my music on, and then just sort of hook that up via an Elgato. This time I'm going to try and do it all on 1 computer. Hopefully it will survive. You were fighting with a 6-year-old, lovely. So yeah, we're going to try, and this also means that I'm trying out a different piece of software, which I'm using now to do my music, that I'm learning, and I don't really know all the ins and outs, so it's a learning curve, but get in there. It's been working and finding material for super secret Starfinder stuff. Ooh, lots of S's. So yeah, let's give it a go. Hopefully, if I do, is this the one? Won't be the one. Hopefully this is the one. Should be able to hear stuff now. Yes. There might be a little bit of a delay, but it should be there. Getting this hooked up was surprisingly problematic. Does seem to drop off. Is there like a noise gate on that? That doesn't look right. Hang on. There is a noise gate, so let's turn that off for a start. You go away. No, it's still there. Might be quite quiet. Let me turn it up a bit. It's quite quiet in my ears as well, so. Okay, might be alright. Yeah, so do let me know. For some reason, this program outputs things very quietly, even if you're sort of hitting the upper limit of its sound. It is quite quiet. So I've had to boost my headphones, so if anyone does text-to-speech, that's going to hurt. But yeah, this does have gain on it. Oh, it's got a gain reduction. That's marvellous. Yeah, so this is a weird workaround. I'm sure someone will do it, don't worry, miss. Be worried, you might be pre-diabetic or actually diabetic now because you've had a lot of nerve pain in your foot and fingers at the moment. But you've also got something in the post that you're excited about. Very excited about the stream. Well, hopefully I don't let you down on the last one. Yeah, I mean, if you are worried about something like that, do definitely get it checked up because that's very important. I mean, I have literally no idea what I'm going to do this stream at all. I've loaded up a piano, that's it. So, yes. Last time we ended up doing a cover of the X-Men theme, if I remember correctly. I never did finish that. Play what again? Bone Trousel? That's okay. Basically an arpeggio. Just ping pong on the piano for 2 hours and you'd be impressed and pleased. I mean, I might do that. I've been playing a lot more keyboards and stuff than guitar. Certainly this year. It's a quote from a film. I know the reference, miss. I know, well, kind of. But apparently that was never said quite in that way. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's nice that I got this piano with Contact, which I bought a while ago. The Grandeur. It's my go-to piano. Very nice. And you can sort of change the tone if you want to do something sort of much softer. Etc, etc. Does take up 200 megabytes of memory while it's going though, but apart from that. You need to play a pretty song. I mean, I'm not... I want to write some more sort of slow, quiet stuff because I've never really done it before, but there's always the part of my brain that goes, well, if you're not a fan of that stuff, why are you writing it, you know? If you hear it, you just think of Airplane. I'm sure there's a reference to pretty much every film in Airplane, isn't there? Pre-Airplane, anyway. So yeah, I don't know. We don't have to do piano. It's a good starting point anyway. Um, how loud is that? My voice is louder than that, so maybe we can lift that up a bit more. Yes. I don't know. I'm literally plinky plonking at the moment. That's my go-to thing right now. Is just flatten that fifth. You know. That's the piece of music I was trying to find. So yeah. Weird. I don't like going into streams without some sort of structure. So I don't know. Maybe we can just sort of play with some instruments. The waltz was nice. I like that. That's a similar thing actually. That has the sort of flattened fifth in there as well. Yeah, that just sort of came out of messing around with the piano. Maybe we can try and find an instrument that'll give us some sort of inspiration to write something. Maybe, hopefully. Harp's always a good bet. Stick a harp on there. Anyway, I'm glad you liked the waltz. Most of these things just sort of come out of me prattling around, and eventually my fingers play something nice, and I'm like, ooh, interesting. Or I tried and do a variation on an existing song, and the variation is so severe that I can make it my own. I didn't show the what was that? Did I mention this last time? I haven't played it for ages. How does it go? Is that it? Can't remember. Which is my sort of soft minor version of Take Me Home Country Roads, or whatever it's called. Just change the key, play it on a sad piano, and you're sorted. Because the original's like... That's it. Nope. But in a minor key, it just goes... Sensitive keyboard. Yeah, and just do a nice sort of underneath, and you're sorted. So you could do stuff like that, but I don't know. Try not to rip anyone off this stream if at all possible. Yeah, I don't know. Any ideas? Any ideas of what to do? Just like that. I mean, if you know that it's relatively straightforward to convert from a major to a minor, it's changing 3 notes, I guess. It's going from to what was it? Root whole whole half whole 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 half compared to root whole half whole whole half whole whole. Speaking of holes, there's some nice articulations with this actually. You got the Flegelay. Music is a language you never really understood, but you still appreciate the hell out of it. It's one of those things that it's very nice because you don't have to know how it works in order to like it, you know? Which is not the same as, say, maths, which is very difficult to appreciate if you don't like it. And if you don't understand it. You wish you'd been able to grasp music theory better. There's a lot I don't understand. One of the things I'm sort of working out is, can I get like a visual keyboard up? Is that something I can do? Because one thing I've been sort of working out recently is... No, can I see... This? Ah. No, that's not responding. You can read music okay, you can play a couple of things okay. I never got past, I think that the highest musical qualification I got was grade 4 trumpet. And trumpet is my worst instrument, but the rest is magic. One of the things I quite like, because in the Western world, we divide music up by nice organized chunks, particularly in groups of 12. So if you take a note, which is just a vibration of air, and you double the frequency of that vibration, you get the same note but higher, as it were. We call those an octave apart. And then we split all the notes up in between equally into 12 bits. Like that. But and it's all really about intervals and how notes sound with one another. You know, this sounds hopeful, this sounds sad. But one of the things I sort of found out recently is how or why diminished chords work. And diminished chords always sound unsettled. They sound like they're not finished yet. And I kind of worked out why. It's because they have a nice symmetry to them. And the way you can make a diminished chord is by starting with a note, then going up a certain number, usually 3 or 4. So go up 4, say, and then go up another 4, and then another 4. And now we're back sort of to where we started. If you play all those notes together, you get something that doesn't quite feel like it's finished. It feels like it wants to do something else. And the reason for that is that your brain's sort of kind of looking for which of these notes is the important one. But because they're all 3 up from one note and 3 down from another, none of them are important. They're all exactly the same. And that leaves you feeling sort of uneasy until something happens that sorts itself out. And the nice thing about these chords is they can resolve in lots of different ways. You can do the same with 3s. That's another one. Sort of more popular one. Or just 6s, which just sounds horrible. But I like it. Anyway, enough music theory. Let's actually do some music. That's my vague musical psychological theory that I came up with about 3 days ago. But it kind of makes sense. Like, you sort of, if you play like a root note in its fifth, the fifth it oscillates at 1.5 times the frequency of the root note, and thus it just sort of makes the root note sound wider, as it were. It doesn't actually change the feeling of it. Like, that's got a feeling to it. This sort of doesn't. It's very plain. Wondering when Sephiroth would appear on the piano. Yes, that's how I was introduced to the flattened fifth. Or sharpened fourth, if you prefer. So yeah, it's sort of, I like that. But then you can also do like a fifth of a fifth. There's the cycle of fifths, that's the whole thing. But if you do like, so for example, a chord that's just the fifth and the fourth, like that doesn't feel settled either. That feels like it needs to go like that. Or some sort of resolution. And the reason for that is because you've got 2 fifths going on, both of which are pointing to a different root note. And your brain's going, which of these is correct? I don't know. So you need something to tell you what's what. Anyway, enough of that. Let's do some music. I don't know. What are we feeling? Music-wise. I don't have many things on this. I've got the Contact Factory library, which is not terrible. Cine Symphony, which is okay. I probably paid too much for it. Some more things from Contact. Organs, which I never use. Strings, which are fine. Horns. The piano. And then a bunch of stuff I nicked from Logic. Um, or should I just play piano for 2 hours? Don't know if it's because you started with it, but you're liking the quiet, slower pace. Okay. So, but I don't. Yeah. So how can we? How can I get interested in that? Because it's like I could probably churn out a kind of relatively whatever slow thing. But if it's going to actually be something I want to listen to more than once, I've got to find something that sort of I can latch onto and go, okay, that's what we'll run with. I've never done a pedal thing. The idea of a pedal is just having one note in the background that doesn't change. They got sort of like a. Something like that. Is that loud enough, by the way? Do let me know. This again, I have not tested this setup, so. Also, this is probably visually the least interesting stream you'll watch, so feel free to do something else while this is happening. Because it's just you're looking at plugins right now. Trying to think, is there anything that I wrote recently that's nice? I always start with a minor, which is I should probably start with something nicer. Crispy's music podcast. 2 hours of complete waste of time. Music is loud and clear. Cool. In that case, let me know if it's too loud. Musical idea. You're painting. Ooh, very nice. What are you painting? Also, the microphone's further away because there's a keyboard in front of me. So on and so forth. I will happily allow you to waste my time. Stop looking for holes. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, and solving tech problems is something to do. So now there aren't any. I've got to think about. I mean, that's always a nice. I did do it. What was that? What was that? I still don't know why that sounds nice. A very overdue couple's portrait. Ooh, very cool. Like, I get that. That's just a major seventh. Standard jazzy sort of thing. But then you choose the major seventh of the fifth. Major fifth. But the seventh of that is the is the flattened fifth of the root, so you get Sephiroth comes back in, but it doesn't sound Sephirothy. It doesn't sound evil. It just sounds calm, even if you play it at the same time. Like, why does that sound nice? But if I just play the root note and the augment, that's weird. Ever think of a story when putting music together like this? Just curious. It's how your brain works. Make a story, write music flows around it. I mean, not often. I tend to just find an interesting sort of pattern or riff or rhythm, something that sort of I want to keep playing and expound on. Sometimes, like for example, with the case of the because magic, yeah, because music is weird. There have been times when I'm like, I wanna write a piece of music to go with this idea, to go with this lyrical idea or visual idea or whatever. But it's not often. And it's an idea I want to cultivate more. I want to give some sort of, particularly if I'm going to do more instrumental music, I want to give it a bit more narrative, just from feeling, You only asked to see how you can all work together. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like my approach to writing music's always been sort of a bit more. I won't say technical. It's still very based on feel, but it is. I don't know. It's sort of based on playing feel rather than feeling feel, if that makes sense. Hello, Oobs! We have done nothing in 26 minutes. How are you doing? Hype for the tunes. Settle the hype. We're feeling. That's not a good feel. That's better. You've done nothing in 24 hours, you win. Oh, that's nice. Nothing wrong with writing based on ear feel as opposed to heart feel. I know. Yeah, I do want to find, because like when I was writing the waltz thing, that was literally just based on that. I did that with my hands. I didn't know what it was. It just sounded nice. And then you get bits later on, which are the same sort of structure, but slightly different. And it's just sort of playing with patterns, really. But at the same time, when it came to actually orchestrating the whole thing, I knew I want this section to sort of feel like a big crescendo, and this bit to suddenly go quiet. That part. So I did have some sort of idea for that, with regards to how it should. I didn't want it all to be on one level, but again, I'm still feeling quite technically. What feel am I going for? Not a clue. We're literally just chatting at the moment. But we did say something slower, and I did have that. Make that a bit lower. Music theory is a lot of this sounds blank and then spending hundreds of years analysing why. Yep, it's, yeah. Also because I come from a rock background, I wouldn't really know how to expand this without sort of ruining it. This just came from again, one of those sneaky, different feeling covers of pieces of music. 10 points if you can guess the song. But yeah, we can't do that. But we can do the other bit that I added onto the front. You just got to work out sort of how to... Is there going to be like a rhythm to this? Some sort of underlying... Expanding ideas minimally is not my forte. Also, I keep turning up my headphones. If anybody does do text-to-speech, it's going to frighten the crap out of me. I mean, I could, if I'm doing soft piano, I can boost that at the very least, and then turn my ears down slightly. That might be a bit louder for you now, but if I'm playing softly, it's not a... So what kind of nice... I like the idea of having that running through it. So I've got those chords. Where can we go from there? That's nice. Very calm opening cutscene feel. We could go for that labs. Apparently this is used bunny everywhere, but there's a good reason it is. That's good. Soft piano. By the way, if anyone wants to try this sort of thing out, Spitfire Audio, they're a British-based, as the name may suggest, they're a British-based company, and they do a thing called Labs, which is a bunch of free plugins that are kind of more experimental. This is one of their most popular ones. It's very, particularly up high. It's got nice sort of feel. If that's your sort of thing, it's free. Yay. Right. So. I'll go back to the. Just get this but soft. Where's the lid? Get that down. Gonna make sure not to make it too muddy in the low end. Which should we make this higher? Maybe later. Again, just sort of experimenting with ideas. Is any of this sounding nice? I don't know. It's a waltz again, isn't it? What have we got for? You know, I spent like the last 3 years writing songs in 4/4 and thinking, why can't I write anything in another key? And I've written 2 pieces of music in 3/4 in one go. You know, in the Undertale soundtrack, the one in the Cafe in the Rain track, I don't remember the name of. Let's see if we can find it. You don't have to see that. Cafe in the Rain. I mean, should I listen to it or should I try and go in blind? That's a question. I've just realised I would have no idea what it's called. Go in blind, listen later. That's probably the best way. Well, listen, yeah, okay. So I like the sort of start of this. The velocity is very sensitive on this keyboard. Now, how do we work our way back? Because I would like to loop. I'm a sucker for motif. I'm a sucker for chord progressions. I'm a songwriter originally, so I like to find my loops. So yeah, trying to find a way back. Would a diminished be a bit out of place? Ooh, but that could take us somewhere interesting. And then we could sort of stay on that for a bit. Well, that's a stretch. My hand does not stretch that far. This is what I need the webcam for. Okay, we can get a couple of loops of that. I'm still not. How are we gonna voice the? Yeah, maybe not the whole thing. Maybe. Oh, I like that. Picking chords is hard. So what do we go? We're going from here to here. There. There. More resolution. Maybe the whole hog? it doesn't go back. Ah! It's tricky, you know? Is any of this making sense? I'm just going... Nope. Nope. And just, yeah. Hopefully there is actually some sort of underlying logic. Sorry, I realised I raised the volume to do that. You're painting? No one apologise. I just want to make sure that the structure that's going around in my head is also intelligible. I don't want to go from there. Jeez. You had like 3 years of musical theory where you had to like write songs and natural chord progressions, and you remember absolutely none of it. Yeah, it's funny how some information sticks and some doesn't. And the reason you're not freaking out in chat is your canvas is in front of your iPad. Again, no problem. No worries. I just wanted to check in and make sure. Whoops. Are we gonna do that? Are we gonna do that? But where from there, though? But just stay there? You can resolve from that, yeah? Maybe. It's a bit Final Fantasy Prelude, isn't it? Also try not to go too low. So usually I have no piano training, and as a consequence, my right hand does all the work, and my left hand just plays octaves. And that's not the way you should do things. So I've got to try and remedy that where I can. Or maybe we could... Maybe we could extend it... Well, that's kind of like I'm having a middle eight, really, isn't it? Structure, form. Again, I'm trying to think... I'm trying to get as much of it in my head as possible before I start putting it down. Because that's the way I like to do it. I like to try and have a kind of a solid first thing, which I can then completely dismantle and rearrange. But it's there, you know? Sephiroth's trying to sneak back at yes, yeah. But that's the thing, like, he's in there somewhere. Are we gonna have a Sephiroth jar as well? Oh no, we're gonna go. Stay on that, or we could go back down to the G, or we could go up to a B flat major. Final Fantasy VII Remake soon, yes. Ran out of keys. Trying to not to invoke that if possible. It's almost there. So this is good enough for me to get interested in it, but it's missing a joint, missing a connection. Unless we don't have a connection. Unless we change the key. Gonna try us playing Final Fantasy music. I could play more. Most of what I know on piano is Final Fantasy music, which is a bit embarrassing. Yeah, maybe we can use that as a jumping off point. Whoops. And then how would we transfer back? Because we don't then have to do the same. Do that, sort of like a kind of anticlimactic sort of thing. I don't know how long this is going to last either. I may just need to get down the basic structure and then cheat. Again, the one thing that is very important. Some people were asking whether or not I could do a stream of me playing music. And the thing is, I'm not really a performer. I don't have the consistency of playing. I never have. So when we eventually get down to recording this, there's going to be a lot of stopping and starting. So yeah. As you can tell by occasionally the randomly loud note. Which note do we do that with? Is that not how you meant to play an instrument? You've been doing it wrong this whole time. Apparently, you're supposed to play the same thing the same way multiple times. And preferably the way that it's been written down. I know, it's news to me. I was playing the trumpet for 7 years before anyone told me that. Okay, so which do we drone? Do we drone the augment or the root? Well, this is going to be over there. That sounds nice. I was worried it would get in the way. You mean not everyone's left-handed and plays the bass chords way louder than the melody? I can imagine that's a bloody nightmare. Is there a way to like map the keyboard the other way around, or would that just make things? Well, no, that wouldn't make any sense, would it? Oh no, it would. You just sort of your keyboard would start and end at a different place, but it's feasible. There's a symmetry to it. which you could help your questions with. Okay, where to now? I think I've got something. Got that, and then cop out, go to the fourth. If all else fails, go to the fourth, and then if all else fails, minor it. We're not doing that. What was it? Then down to there. Loads of sevenths. All the sevenths. There, and then oh no, we were that because we wanted the use the fourth. So we can have that being a kind of bigger part. Again, not too big. Yeah, trying to get those. I'm a bit obsessed with augmented chords right now. Actually, no, it's that. Yeah. And that's the turning point where it gets quiet again. Okay. It's always 140. Whenever my natural rhythm must be 140 beats per minute. When I started writing music, all my songs were in 140. Now they're back to being 140 again. At least it's 3/4. That's something. Or 6/4 maybe, depending on your disposition. Let's get something up so that I can keep rhythm, because the click track very rarely works. Duplicate this. Probably going to sound horrible, but do I want to stay too much to a rhythm, or should I try and keep it? Well, my natural rhythm's pretty bad, so probably should try and have some semblance of structure. Let's grab percussion. All percussion. What have we got? Ah, that's loud. Ooh, that's deep. Oh, these headphones are good for that. Oh, that feels weird. The bass on these headphones is very good. I usually use some sort of relatively cheap sort of basic monitoring headphones, but I decided to put on my fancy mixing headphones for today, and oh, you can hear the difference. Um, that's weird. That is down. I've got loads. That's nice. I would that's I would turn that into something. I would record that. I did that with something else the other day. I never actually turned it into. Hang on. This brief aside. I just quite like this rhythm. It was I was messing around with African instruments, and there was one called the bolon, which I've never heard of before. But you know, Contact gives us the ability to play around with these things. And it has that sort of standard things, but it's kind of like a bassy sort of. It doesn't go very high. It's quite nice, but they gave us slapping sounds as well. So immediately I just put my hand in a nice position and started playing a rhythm, and it sounded pretty nice. Little things like that. That's the sort of stuff I latch onto. Anyway, we're trying to do some basic stuff there. Nope. Yeah, let's just get that in. A click would be nice. No. Calm down. Calm down. That's nice. Pushes piano back towards you. It's I'm a sucker for rhythm. Boom. So let's grab these. Quantize. Go. Getting used to the controls of the new program, and you loop this. How do you loop this? No, you have to set it to be looped. No, you set this to be looped. Looping in this is odd. Loop item sort. There we go. I don't know how long we're going to need that for. Probably not. Oh no, it's only 3 minutes. Maybe more. Just to be safe. 6, that'll do. So this is just to keep time because metronomes tend to. I tend to get used to them after a while. Right. What was I playing? Am I just trying to throw in weird chords for the sake of having weird chords? I don't know. That's nice. Is there anything wrong with that? No, it's just a tendency I have. Apparently I just left the chat. That's interesting. Okay. How's that sound in comparison? Right, down. This is probably going to drive you guys up the wall, but it keeps me on track. Yes, goodbye. I'll be quiet for the rest of the stream. Also, weird thing with Reaper, which I didn't get with Logic, is when you stop playback, it goes back to where you started, which is nice if you're trying things over and over again, but a bit weird. Let's also label some tracks. So this is piano. I want to say bass, but it is two hands. Piano 1. This is. Let's just see if I can actually, or if this is the right rhythm. Oops. A little slower. Even slower than that. Ah, my sustain pedal's getting away from me. That feels good. Anyone remember what the next chord was? um, that was the one. What's this set to? This is set to overdub, please. Oh, more leading than that. Yeah, give me. Whoops. Ah, loud noises. Shush. That's the one. Ah, pedal. It's just, as soon as I start playing it, the next chord is gone. Okay, that was just bad playing. This is what it's like. Fine, right up until that bit. Actually, no. Should we make that? No, this is a build-up, isn't it? We don't want that to peter out. Try again. Nope, that's not good. Is this what it's like when you're with your band? Do you just play about? You don't know how to write this, not to sound rude, but you're generally just asking. Usually, yeah. Usually we just sort of jam and sort of come up with stuff. We tend to sort of write larger chunks alone. And then we come together and go, that works, that doesn't work, that works with this idea that I've got, and then we record it all together and sort out the instrumentation therefrom. This is more my way of doing things, of just sort of floundering. Sometimes you get an idea that you just run with, and like so for example the that thing, from conception of that, just doing that with my hands, to getting the piano line down for the whole song took about 20 minutes. And like the whole chord progression, the whole structure of the song, everything. So sometimes you can just really feel it, and sometimes it takes a little more effort, like this. And sometimes it just doesn't work. So yeah, What do you think of Sexy Brutal? I need to listen more to that soundtrack. It has some good stuff on it. Where's this? There's that. No. Yeah. Because this is when there's going to be I don't know what the orchestration is going to be yet on top of this. Is it going to be strings or harp or I don't know. But I do want there to be a sort of build up towards the end of this bit, and then this is when it all sort of, this is the catharsis, and it's a quiet catharsis. Whoops. Oh, shush tambourine. Okay. That's 2.5 minutes. That's what I aim for with my instrumental pieces, because 2.5 minute pieces of music is 5 minutes, and that's perfect for the introduction to a stream. So let's grab. Oh, no, that's a very long fade back, fade out. We can get rid of there. Okay, so this is all the. What are we going to call it? Save your work, but you have to come up with a title in order to do so. Which is why the last one was called Uneasy Lullaby, even though it didn't sound anything like that at the end. Anyone got a working title? We've been at this for over an hour. Is it another waltz? Kind of, yeah. Another accidental waltz. But it's very. It might be a bit too fast for a waltz. Maybe not. Maybe it's about right. What's a good BPM for a waltz? I don't know. International Standard Waltz. Wow, they're a lot slower than I thought. This might be. Then again, it depends on which way you're looking at it. Yeah, that's a lot. Probably a bit fast. Speedrun waltz. The quick foot waltz. What was it I played? exactly. Why does that work? Why is that nice? Doesn't make any sense. All these weird chords. Gotta remember that people gotta be able to dance to it if it's a waltz. Exactly, yeah. Which is why I'm always hesitant of using the word waltz, because people tend to pin it on anything that's 3/4. I want to put that in somewhere. Where can that fit? Because we don't really go back to the first part until the end. I was expecting there to be at least multiple sections, but it really just does develop. Maybe we could extend the middle bit, the loud part. Just clip through your dance part. But I out of bounds this ballroom. It's much faster if you can get to the end. You can clip through the floor, find the loading trigger, and you're sorted. What was it? It was... So it's the 7th, the 5th, minor 7, 5, sharpened root. Okay. So that would be... Oh, it's just one up, isn't it? Is that going to stretch it out too much, maybe? I don't know. I'm thinking of... Because I came up with a nice... Oh, that's Claire de Lune, isn't it? Very... Debussy? Is it Debussy? How do you pronounce that? Maybe I shouldn't shoehorn that in. I like it though, it does sound good. Or maybe just that. That might be good. Was that the diminished chord I was going for? Doesn't sound as satisfying as it used to. Ah, it does with the 7th. Okay, so I might need to re-record the middle bit because I want to go from the... It has to have a slow down there as well. Shush. Oh yeah, we haven't named it yet. What are we calling this? You know what we're like with names, true. I'll just call it Pal. I don't know. The problem is I'm always reluctant to change the draft name. A lot of my songs, funnily enough, because I tend to write music before I write lyrics. Lyrics are quite hard for me, which is why I want to do instrumental stuff. But a lot of the time, I write a piece of music and then I just give it a nonsense name, and then I get so attached to the nonsense name that I write lyrics based on it. And I try and think, what does that mean? If that was a song, why would it be called that? And then I try and sometimes I come up with nice stuff as a consequence. And then I get a piece of music called Chemical Lemon and think, what am I going to do with that? What does Chemical Lemon mean? That's how you title all your essays and also poetry in college, so like Chase Your Bliss. I mean, yeah. Lemon Acid. I think it was because I realized the difference between like the smell of lemon and then the smell of lemon scented products. And that they were two different smells, but I like both of them. And that was on my mind, and so I called a piece of music Chemical Lemon. But that's not a song. You can't write a song about that. What does this make me think of? It's quite sort of unrelenting in a way. It doesn't really pause. It's sort of very rhythmic, very pulsing, sort of. That's mostly down to me and my distaste for completely changing the feel or structure of something. I'm sure in the orchestration, more dynamics will come through. I don't know how that's going to happen yet. Why does it take so long to name things? Anime intro. See, I don't watch anime, so I don't know. Don't get the reference. And you have summer. Interesting. It's very calm. It doesn't sort of. It doesn't belie a kind of underlying. There's a bit of. There's some tension in there occasionally, but it does resolve. It doesn't belie anything unfinished. It's quite a content piece of music. Blue skies, green grass, absolute quiet. By which you mean you want to turn it off. Smell after a heavy storm in summer? That's petrichor, if I remember correctly, is the name of that. Should we call it petrichor? We'll call it petrichor, why not? I've never had a name. Yeah, the smell of it's a kind of earthy, ozony sort of smell that you get after it's rained from a long period of not raining. You can call it that. Why not? No, that's just a folder. Actually, no, I don't. Oh, I'm an idiot. It makes its own folder. Get rid of that. Go on. Shoot. Ah, what? I've deleted the one that was there. Okay, I'll add a space after it. Fine. Right. What were we doing? We wanted to change the middle bit. I wanted to change the middle bit. So rather than it going it would go if I can remember what it was. How are we gonna do? And a much slower sort of cadence. So let's hit this. Another weird thing about Reaper is when you duplicate a track, it duplicates all the stuff on it. Also, why was it loading? I've still got a harp there. Go away. And that as well. Go away. No, bugger. Right, cool. Okay, so let's do. How do you mute on this? That's a marker. There we go. There's a marker there now. Don't worry about it. Nope, it's gone. Right. Robesh. Cross back in. Something didn't sound. Yeah, maybe it's just that. I was trying to add an E in and it didn't need it. At the moment, it sounds a bit messy because of the whole you know, and all that. But I can hear what it's supposed to be, kind of. I can feel what it's supposed to be. Hopefully this works. Because I didn't want to just repeat the starting again. But yeah, I wanted something different. I have to do something else with that. Usually when I write a piece of music, I end up writing something that doesn't go in the song, but that I think I should use that somewhere else. So I never finish all of my loose ends. It's like maths. Whenever you solve one problem, 5 more crop up. Okay, we're gonna have a crack at this. Higher part. Piano. Piano 1, 2. Actually, that was pretty good. So let's just. Controls are different between programs. That go you. Goodbye. I don't know what you're gonna be. Not a piano. Up. Oh, up. Yeah, high. Don't want to keep doing the same rhythm the whole way through. I do feel like we should go back. I can make this like. I can add another minute to this if I wanted to. This tangentially reminded you to look up a very specific version of the Devil's Trill Sonata that you lost on your old PC somewhere and you found it. Yay. What's the Devil's Trill Sonata? That sounds interesting. Sorry, I've just realised that you can only see half of this. Wow, loud. That's loud. Thank you, Kira. Yay. No, don't apologise. It wasn't that loud. Yeah, so there's something there. Hang on. One more. Whoops. Can we get like a different thing? No. Would flageolet sound good? Kind of. Then the instrumentation have changed there. It's very dramatic. Ooh. Talking about waltzes got you wondering in what Dance Macabre was written, and it kind of spiraled from there. Oh, okay, cool. That's a nice one as well. That's chromatic. I don't know the rest. What are they? Are these like Jonathan Crick. Yeah. I don't know. What's that, Poirot? Right. So this works well at the start, but it needs to evolve. It can also get very annoying. Gotta get those levels up, make it evolve, yep. Gotta learn Fire Blast. Ice to start, needs to evolve, gets annoying. No, I don't think that's accurate. Yeah, I don't know. I do like that. It's a little Hollow Knight, isn't it? But it might work. I'll also turn down the little an excessive hand of this. So this is a harp. Just get it down before I forget it. Oh yeah, big lead in. And that's when it will all start changing. Down, and I'm going to add a higher part, so we need to overdub. Oh, we're on overdub, good. Long lead in. Oh, whoops. I'll change that later. A lot of that was out of time. That's fine. A lot of the first one was out of time as well. So we're going to need... Okay, so... a little bit of quantizing because I'm terrible. Nothing major, not 100%. Just a bit. Yeah, change that. That needs what's it called? Glissando. But how? Why does that sound a bit like a steel drum? Okay, let's do that. Hello, have I lost connection to chat? What is going on here? How dare you? My chat is... Well, luckily my bot's still connected, that's it. All of a sudden steel drums. I have steel drums. I do have them as a thing. Okay. Bit too loud on the lead up. Fine. I have no idea if a harpist would actually be able to play this. That's not the point. No. No! You are a different note. Go away. Yeah, better. Nah. Down with that. Bring that back. Bit quiet. Also too late. Oh, chat's back. There we go. Yeah, I could. That's not the right thing. Might be able to fit some steel drums in here. I put some steel drums in one of the songs in band, actually. Rock song with steel drums in it, why not? I think I nicked that from Logic, didn't I? Caribbean. Oop. Probably won't fit with this, but it's an option. So, save. I want something floating over the top of this, like a flute. Don't really want strings. I want something else. Maybe strings. I don't want strings. Let's have strings. Oh, this doesn't give me dynamics. Yes, no, no. Strings probably have to come in at some point, don't they? The sort of big build. towards the end. By the way, if anyone wants an explanation as to what on earth I'm doing with all these things, do let me know. 'Cause I only vaguely know myself, but a bit of information can't hurt. Oh, chat, keep up. I spent an afternoon with folks from the Scottish Symphony Orchestra, and we were allowed to sit and play the harp. Ooh. After a few people had a turn, she let us know that the harp cost about £20,000, and we all took about 3 steps away from it. That's, yeah, I think the most expensive instrument I've played I own, which goes to show you how cheap it is. That's not true. No, one of my the drummer, the old drummer in our band, who is now retired, hence why I call him the old drummer. He bought himself a very nice fancy acoustic guitar for a couple of £1,000. It's like, oh my word! Spent that much on a guitar. It did feel nice though. Yeah, so, well, sorry, one thing I'm not, you can't even see it, it's on a different screen. One thing I'm possibly not explaining, this is MIDI sequencing, and essentially what it does is my keyboard, which I have here, set up via USB, and it sends a MIDI signal, and a MIDI signal contains various pieces of information, including how long the signal lasts, how strong the signal is, which I can change here. The warmer the colour, the stronger. In this instance, that equates to how hard I press the button. And that usually translates into how loud the note is. The uncle has a couple of very expensive guitars in his house. I'm one of those people that's like... For me, the point of diminishing returns is quite low. I would never spend more than like 500 quid on a guitar. Anyway, yeah, sorry. But with the strings are different. Or this particular string sample library is different because it doesn't matter how hard I press the keys, it's the same volume. I have a modulation wheel, that controls the volume, so I can press it and then change the volume dynamically as I go through. There are other ways of doing that. You can get pedals and things. I have seen a breath controller, so you blow into it and the strength of your breath affects the volume of the note. So if you're doing like a saxophone or a flute or something, you can quite realistically sort of sort that out. Doesn't quite work with strings, but I suppose you could make it work. It's not intuitive, but just play the instrument then. I mean, you would still have to learn how all the keys work and have the proper breath control and the proper embouchure, and if it's a reed instrument, the proper grip around the reed. You'd also have to buy the instrument and maintain it. As somebody who owns a lot of instruments that I don't play because it's a bit of a faff, can confirm. It's better to have a keyboard with a periphery. Or peripheral. So I don't know what to do with this. It's a bit Zelda-y now, isn't it? And some sort of big thing. It's quite nice. Does anybody remember any of that? I may have to go back on the stream. And that was the first bit, wasn't it? There's A there, isn't it? Yeah, I'll probably watch back on the stream to get that exactly, because quite a lot of that was good, and that's very rare. my improvising with strings tends to be quite bad. So, but I've got the beginning bit. So. Can't remember the rest. Whatever it was that I did play was good, and I can always listen back. This is why you should always record, especially MIDI. Even if you're just messing around, you can delete it afterwards if it's not good. Then I had... So, what was it? What did I play? I do remember the... Sounds better lower, doesn't it? Like that. That's not a note. that's still in there. Hang on. There it is. Get away. Right. Well, we got something. The 2 hours apparently. Okay. That's workable. I can make that into something. I have no idea when we're going to do this again. I will probably finish this off stream at some point. It's a good starting point. I can turn into something very nice. Thank you for playing with something you wouldn't normally do. I absolutely would not normally write this, so it's nice. It's good. I want more variety to the stuff I make, so if you guys can kick me in the right direction, that'd be great. I'm glad you had a good time. I was worried that we would end up with a completely blank thing at the end of it. I did spend the first hour of it not recording anything, but we worked it out. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me and for having your input and being creative with me. Very nice. Yeah, I'm sure we'll do this again at some point. Yeah, it's good. I like how when I look at my bot, my bot's just on a command line. So when you post an emoji, it doesn't know what to write because there's no ASCII character for an emoji. So it just comes up as question marks. So when Chris writes yay followed by a smiley face, it comes up as yay? Yay? Should I say yay to this? It's very nice to paint it. I'm glad it was a nice background thing. I knew it wouldn't be visually interesting, but I thought it might be at least audibly so. Sounds great already. I don't want to add too much to it because that is my temptation. That is what I do a lot. I end up with hundreds of tracks, and no, this doesn't need that. This just needs very carefully orchestrated, simple things. Go nuts? No, I want this to be. I certainly don't want to lose that sort of droning piano sort of thing. I want to give it oomph behind it. Your mum's phone does that whenever she sends emojis, they just come up as question mark, so she sounds perpetually confused. Lovely. Yes. Haha, OMG, yay? Nice. But I can see it on my proper chat. Anyway. Before we end, let's try and find out where my piece of music went so that we can listen to it to end. Perpetually confused mum is adorable. Oh, but it would at least be. Oh no, I made it on this computer, didn't I? I keep forgetting I'm making music on this computer. So let's look for stuff. Because I know where I keep things. Yeah, I do. Don't play yet. This is going to play, isn't it? Stop. Cancel. Shush. No, shush. Okay. Cool. Right. Perpetually confused mum is adorable, yes. Well, it's good you tried a new 40k game. The startup menu has a link to the manual to show how in-depth it is. It's always good when a computer game has a manual. Yeah. thank you everyone for coming along. Tomorrow we are confusing. We are confusing. I am perpetually confused. But we are continuing, more accurately, the Dark Souls playthrough. Bish, bling, blom, blam, blom. There it is. Slick. So yeah, look forward to that, or don't. It's up to you. I hope you all have a wonderful time. Thank you very much for this. This was fun. If it was a bit slow to get off the ground because I wasn't quite sure where I was going. It's nice that literally 2 chords that I played at the start of something else. The start of a cover, but I made up those 2 chords. Turned into something nice. Continuing being confused, absolutely. You'll probably miss it. Oh, it's a shame. I'm sure nothing of interest will happen. Yes, if you at any point, we're going to do more of these, of course, because these are fun. Once I've got a clear idea of what we do. But yes, if at any point during these I do or say something that you're interested in or want an explanation of, do let me know, because I have been doing this sort of thing for 12 years. So perfectly happy to give an explanation. Yeah. We can talk about Dark. Yay! Yeah. I'm sure there was something else I was going to say, but it's gone now. So yeah. Thank you again. This was very nice. Very pleasant, chill stream. Let's see if my playing of other songs gets me a copyright claim on YouTube. So yeah. Thank you for coming along. Thank you, Kiro. Thank you. Goodbye, I suppose. Bye.